Welcome to the WNBF UK podcast.
Hi guys, and welcome to another WNBF UK podcast. You're here with myself, Leon Mitchell, WNBF Pro, and I'm joined by Rimini Maloro. Rimini, thank you for joining the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
I got that right?
You did.
Guys, as you know, the guys know that I'm rubbish with names and getting it right. I'm getting challenged with these Italian surnames. So yeah, guys, bear with me. Rimini, how you doing? What are you up to?
I'm good. I've been training today, but I'm not working today, so I've got like quite a chilled rest of the day, if I'm honest.
Nice. Okay, so it gives us an opportunity to really deep dive into a little bit about you, your competitive history and your future plans. So Rimini, to kick this off, who are you and where are you from?
Okay, obviously my name's Rimini, as we've said it like 5 times now, from Nottingham. I'm a sports massage therapist and I work at Physique Evolution Gym. What else? I've been in the gym for like 2 years. There's nothing else more about me. Sponsored by CNP and Physique Evolution, and competed in bikini last year and in an off season preparing to compete in 2023 for figure.
Nice. So obviously sporting background it sounds like it's just been instilled with you for a little while, right? So how did you get into, training, from the beginning?
Okay, so when I've been in sport like my whole life, like we're talking gymnastics, dancing, athletics, swimming. I think I even gave football a go once, but I was rubbish. And when I was like 15, 16, I came across Instagram, saw a girl who I actually think competed at the WNBF Worlds in Bikini Pro. Her name's Jessica Arevalo.
Okay, nice.
Saw her in this dazzling bikini and I was like, I want to do that one day. And then didn't pursue it until end of first lockdown, so like summer 2020. And I was like, hired myself a coach and I was like, right, I want to compete next year. Let's just go straight into like a routine, go straight into an off season and just see what we can produce, really. Nice. Since then it's just been really extreme. It's just like anything that's happened, it's just been like, this is gonna happen, this is gonna, like, I have no idea where my life's going at the minute, if I'm honest.
Oh wow, lots of exciting opportunities popping up for you.
Oh, for sure.
So tell me something. So when you first got into your training and you thought, okay, that's it, I really want to get into this sport, what was that transition like for you in terms of getting into that routine, establishing that training set up and making sure the nutrition was on point? Because obviously that was just something new to you, right?
Oh, 100%. So obviously having a supporting background, like it's to like perform for like a skill related thing. So it's not for aesthetics, it's not for anything like that. And nutrition for me was really down because I was heavily underweight. And in the first lockdown, I just went out of spiral. Like I wasn't exercising, wasn't training. I've lost the love for the athletics. And I kind of in my head was like, okay, but I really want to do bodybuilding, but I don't know what to do about the athletics. So I did have the courage to pick myself up and go, athletics is done and now I want to do bodybuilding. Because like I said, I've been wanting to do it for 5 or 6 years, but never really took that step forward to go, okay, actually, we're going to give it a go and see how it goes. Yeah. But yeah.
Nice.
So when I got my coach, I think we started my off season and my training day calories was 1,900. My rest day calories was 1,600. That sounds very, very low to start off an off season with. But I think we got up to like 2,800 within 6 months, which was really, really good. And my eating habits and stuff like that was so much better. I was starting to fall in love with the gym. Obviously, with the whole lockdown going in and out and confusing us all, I just stuck to a routine as much as I possibly could. Altered things around the house, so like I bought a load of resistance bands, the light weights that I got, and then when I got back, when the gyms opened again, I was like the people who I used to like look at to train with, I was at their level because obviously some people struggle training in lockdown, and I was like, oh, if I keep going, I'll be all right. And I was lifting PRs when I returned back. I was like, what's going on? Like, this is sick.
Yeah. That's a good point that you've raised there. I think a lot of people during lockdown, they struggle to really kind of continue with that, instilling that routine and just, trying to get some sort of training stimulus, keep it going. And I think those that persevered through lockdown and just made it happen, literally as soon as the reopened, just pretty much full steam ahead already, right? Because then you were just, your body was just so used to continuous going. And then when you got back at that training environment, it was just non-stop from there.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was listening to the podcast that you did with Lucy, and she said the same thing. Like she stayed within the routine, and then when you got back to the gym, it was just so much easier because you're used to that routine. All that's different is you've got more equipment with you, and you have to drive to the gym, and that's literally it.
100%, 100%. And then tell us a little bit about your experience in terms of finding that coach, because I think this is really insightful for a lot of people. Some people try to do it alone and obviously learn from their mistakes, and some people just get a coach to just aid them through that process. What was your process in terms of finding that right coach for you?
So I didn't really do much research. I always went for advice by one of my old friends called Luke. We're still friends now because I'm not coached by him anymore. And I always went to him for like diet advice and training advice, but didn't actually like invest any money within it. And then like obviously it got to lockdown, I was like, I really want to do this like 100%. I want to give it my all. And he was like, I'll take you for coaching. You'd be my first bikini competitor, but like my priority would be you and stuff like that. So we was like, yeah, let's do it. So apart from it being a big step forward for me, it was also a big step forward for my coach, which was really, really interesting.
Yeah,
it was really, really good to see.
Well, that's a good point, and it's a good insight for those that are potentially thinking about getting a coach. I think the key thing is just shopping around and just seeing reach out to coaches and just they can offer you and just make sure that they have your heart, and that's what you need to do to make sure that's going to be a successful relationship moving forward. So talk to me about when you started to get closer to your first competition. What was that like?
You know what? The prep was such a breeze. I can't lie. It was such a breeze. Like obviously I follow competitors and stuff, but that was like I get like all hormones and stuff for girls is a lot worse than boys doing bodybuilding. And I had some girls like messaging me saying how much they were struggling. I had people crying on their Instagram stories, like saying how hard it was. And I literally sent a message to my coach like, am I meant to be feeling like really upset and down all the time and really struggling? But I think I just really like the grind. Yeah. If I'm honest. And he was like, no, if you're enjoying it, that's really, really good. And I was like, that's fine.
Well, that's the key thing. I think if you fall in love with the process, it becomes a lot easier, right? I think, don't get me wrong, everyone's going to have their highs and low points during prep, you know what I mean? And just once you keep doing it more and more, you kind of you know what, I know this process. I actually enjoy this process. You fall in love with it and it becomes second nature. Don't get me wrong, there will, as I said, be highs and lows, and some people will struggle, and they just need to just reach out when they hit those points, you know what I mean? And we're supportive people around. So I think, everyone just needs to know that they're not alone in those times. So yeah, it's really 100%. Good that you managed to prep a breeze. So talk to me about the build up to going into that first show. What was your first show? And how did you prepare for that?
So my first show was PCA First Timers. How did I prepare for that? As anyone really would, posing every day, ticking the boxes. When it got to like 2 weeks out, starting to do the skin prep, booking hair, booking makeup, booking the hotels to stay in, basically rinsing out my bank account for everything. But my aim for the season was just to do the PCA First Timers and just see how I did. And when I turned around to my coach, he was like, well, do you want a bigger aim? And I was like, okay, invites to British finals for PCA. And that was it. I would have been happy with that. And whether I'd have competed in that or not, I wasn't actually too sure until I went and won my first show. So nice. That I was like,
Wow. So talk to me about that preparation, because you talked about obviously you had to be doing the skincare stuff, the posing daily, and obviously you had to be making sure you had the right attire and all of that stuff. It sounds like there's a hell of a lot of stuff that goes into female prep than it does in the male prep. Males just got to pick, continue with their posing, pick their shorts, and just continue, right? Whereas the females have got a whole process behind that.
So
did you find that stressful?
I didn't have a great experience with my bikini, so I went for a smaller bikini brand. So like in future now, I'd go for like Black Ice or Georgia Rose. I went for a woman and she was lovely, but when my bikini came, it was nothing with what I had planned it to be, nor was it worth the money I had paid. Like, you know how like Lucy's bikini, for example, it was beautiful, like diamantes everywhere, no mess, no glue, no nothing. Like mine came and there was glue all over the diamantes, scratches on top of them. It was just really, really bad. And I think that's the only breakdown that I had about prep, because my bikini was bad. And in my opinion, if I didn't feel good in that bikini, I wouldn't have felt good on stage, and I wouldn't want to have showed it off.
Yeah.
So I got someone who lived about half an hour away from me to literally take all the diamantes off, put them all, like put different ones back on. Now it's absolutely beautiful.
Wow. So last minute stress is trying to get you there.
Yeah.
Figure out a way around it and stuff like that.
That was the biggest stress that I had. So then I had to pay an extra £100 to get that like all redone. And yeah, so my best advice to people, if you're buying a bikini, Black Ice bikini, Georgia Rose bikini, they're your top two. They are expensive, like £400-500, but like it's not a typical bikini. It's something that you'll treasure for the rest of your life. Like mine's in my box now, but when I like eventually move out of my parents' house, this is going to happen soon. I do want it. You know when people put it in like a massive frame and put it on the wall? That's what I want to do. I'd be like, this is mine.
No, I know what you mean. So tell me about the WNBF UK show, because obviously you done that one, right? How did you go from doing the PCA show and then you ended up doing the WNBF one?
So I did another one in between that as well. So I did PCA first timers.
Yeah.
I did 4 shows.
Wow.
Yeah, I was done at the end of the WNBF. I was like, okay, well, now we need to actually fuel.
The WNBF was your last.
That was my last one.
Was your last one. Okay. So what made you add that one on that last little run?
I think it was all because of like CNP were like going, oh, we're now teamed up with WNBF. Like, I think everyone who's in season should like compete there. And I was like, oh, it's only a week longer. That'll be fine. Like, I was like, I'm down for that. just another like £200-300 out my window. Like, yeah, it'd be sound. But no, I'm really glad that I did it, because obviously all the other shows that I did were untested, and as much as it's like in bikini, it doesn't matter as such if you're enhanced or not enhanced, but it's always nice to see where your standard is when someone's in the same position as you and not had that advantage, as we'll say.
Nice. So talk to us about that experience of that show, because obviously it was a first time show for the WNBF UK. You know, a lot of people turned up not knowing what to really expect. You know, what was your overall thoughts about the preparation and delivery of the actual show?
So it was actually really, really good. I really liked how we did the the mandatories first and then went off to have a bit of a break and then went back on, because it gave us more stage time, and it, like especially with the eye walks, it let us like really show off what potential we had, instead of all kind of rushing it in within 5 minutes and then finding out who won within them 5 minutes being on stage. I feel like that's way too quick for everything to happen. It's too much to take in. So like doing the call outs and stuff first, and then taking a break and then seeing everyone doing the routines, which was really good. And then the bikini girls last doing the little eye walks. No, I loved it. And like most of I know with PCA, like backstage, like I felt like there was such a big pressure. I don't know why, but because PCA is such a big show, everyone's kind of like on edge with like, oh my God, I hope I do well. I hope I plays, because it's like got like 20 shows a year or something huge like that. Whereas WNBF, it was just so relaxed. Everyone was so nice. We all spoke to each other. No one was left out. Like we were taking selfies. Like, oh, it's just so good.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying about the various different pressures between different shows and different federations and stuff like that. And it was a real chilled environment at the WNBF Supernatural show. So talk to me a little bit about what happens backstage. You know, when you guys you ladies was backstage, is it just carnage in there, lots of stuff happening, or was it just kind of like it's chilled, we're just taking selfies, just kind of just enjoying the moment? Talk to us about that backstage experience, because a lot of people, especially the first timers, we got the first timer show coming up, and I think that insight is really important, because there'll be people that will be on their own for the first time backstage without coaches, or they might have their coach with them, who knows. But talk to us about that backstage experience.
So I made a bit of a mistake. So I hung around, you know, where the CNP store was?
Yeah.
Where people like getting coffees and stuff. I sat there when I was probably meant to be in the dressing room. I was just talking to them and being like dead, like chilled out and stuff. And then Steff messaged me going, they're warming up. You need to get down here now. And I was like, I don't know where anything is. So I kind of like panicked and ran down. I like just started like lateral raising some resistance bands and stuff. I was like, crap. But then as soon as I'd done the call outs, I then went and made myself comfortable in the dressing room. And I was like a lot more at ease, because like there was always like a volunteer that would come in and tell us how long we got left and who needed to come out. And then I actually got to speak to all the girls instead of just sending them last minute and going hi.
That is definitely one good point, guys. Make sure you're in the right place at the right time. Don't wander too far. I think I got myself caught out a few times being in the wrong place, and all competitors come back to backstage and I'm like, oh sugar, that includes me.
Honestly, I never thought I'd be that person. Like at PCA, 2 of us were late and I was like, oh my God, I'd never be that person. I'm so organized. I was that person. Yeah,
you prep that long and you're late, and it's like, what hold on a second.
Why was I late for that?
Yeah, kind of thing. So that's crazy. So talk to me a little bit about now your transition. Obviously, you're going from bikini into figure for the 2023 season. What prompted that decision to kind of make that transition?
I think I've only been training for 2 years, and the progress I've already made, I would really like to see how much progress I can make, like within another year, for example. Like, I don't think bikini's my limit, as we'll say. I'm not saying that bikini girls don't train hard, because they do, but I literally go into the gym to kill myself and then come home. Like,
love it.
I don't want to have to like restrict my training, restrict my diet, restrict my potential in the gym to come on stage and just do bikini. Like, I would much rather get a bit bigger, pursue my love for the gym, and then compete in figure. Also, the poses are a lot easier and it's not as sassy. So it's sassy, but like bikini's like so sassy.
Yeah. See, I love the fact that you just want to go in there and just not limit your potential to, to grow into other areas and just, absorb much of it as you can, because I think sometimes people do just limit themselves to a specific category when they could potentially, move up a class and push themselves a little bit further. So that's really good on your behalf there. So are you going to still be competing in open federations in terms of both tested and non-tested, or are you going to just stay with the tested federations?
I think next year tested federations, because I think when it gets to figure, it's a different. I feel like it's a different ball game, especially with like PCA and like NFM UK, two bros, things like that. People that are going for like the PCA pro cards and their two bros pro cards, like IFBB pros.
Yeah,
it's like it's very high, but that's also because assisted is also within that line. And I'm open about my journey and stuff, and if it happens one day, like, it'll be of the best interest, but for now I want to stay as natural as I possibly can for as long as I can, to see like how much I can grow without that like little kick up the backside. I want to see how much I can do without it. Not saying like it's the be all and end all, but obviously it does help. That's why it's called assisted.
Yeah, 100%. But for now, you're going to just stay the natty weight. Love it. So talk to me a little bit about your CNP sponsorship, because you're a sponsored athlete now, and I think this is really insightful for those that see it. They see the title sponsored athlete, and it's like, but what does that mean? So talk to me about your collaboration with CNP and how that came about.
Okay, so during the lockdown of like November 2020 to April 2021, I created a TikTok account and made it all fitness related. And CNP followed me in like March, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, they just followed me on TikTok, like, and nothing else happened from it. So they watched me from March to August, and then they finally asked me to be one of their athletes. Nice. So they were just watching my stuff, and I was oh, that's cool. And then I kind of just left it. I was like, oh, well, if they want me to be an athlete, I always say, like, if a brand wants you to be the athlete, they will send your message. But don't don't go out to ask. That's definitely one thing, because your social media is, the way that I see it, is like a CV.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to show brands what you're made of, for them to come to you. And then there's the other side of, like, if like little brands come and say, would like you to be an ambassador, you get 50% off, which I've had like millions of. Even with things that aren't even related to me, like jewelry, bikinis, not even bodybuilding bikinis, just normal bikinis. And I'm like, I'm not paying to rep your stuff. I'm just another customer. It's like, it's a very good scamming tactic for people to get more customers in. But yeah, just be yourself on social media. That's the best thing I can do, because like my TikTok is a bit of a love and hate situation. TikTok's brutal. The comments are brutal. I've been told all sorts, like I'm on gear, I'm not good enough to step on stage, this, that, and the next. Like, it's
typical
just
people warriors, right?
It's just people that like don't even have a profile picture on the profile, and it's like, okay, yeah, you got nothing else better to do in your life. That's fine.
Wow. So talk to me about a little bit some of the things that you have to do as a sponsored athlete to represent the brand. What are the cool things that CNP have allowed you to kind of get involved with to represent their brand?
So I think when I first got sponsored by them, they was like, oh, we'll do loads of events and we'll select you for a few. When they said a few, they meant all of them. So
Big up CNP.
I mean, I wasn't complaining. So the first show that I went and helped them out with is the FitX in Dartford, and I think that was Lucy's first show as well, so that was really nice to see. And I was like, oh my god, this is awesome, like look at me go, like I feel such a part of the team. Like they were so welcoming. I'd never met any of them in person before, and they just felt like family. It just felt like a second home. Nice. So you rep the brand, you promote the products. Obviously I use the products. I haven't gone anywhere else with products at all. Nice. I rely on CNP quite a lot. The proteins are the highest quality that I've ever had. Like I always struggled to digest protein shakes and stuff like that, but their protein is just like nice. And then I can remember having a phone call either just before I went to Dartford or just after, and Cam was like, would you like to go to the Arnold's? And I was like, you want me at the Arnold's? And I just sat there like crying after I got off the phone to him, because then they did like a little picture as well with all the athletes. Yeah. And put it on social media. I was like, that's me, I'm there. And I felt like famous. It was amazing. Nice.
See, that's the great thing about it. It brings on some opportunities that that you just would never have thought were going to be possible. And then it's really nice when you see athletes who genuinely feel humbled by the kind of the platforms that they're now being enabled to kind of be part of. So that's the Arnold's, that was a big look. You know what I mean? Especially from the lockdown, everyone not being able to do nothing, to everyone being able to get back in the same environment again. So that's crazy.
When I went to the Fit Expo, like just to go and spectate at that one, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is cool. And then second one I've ever been to, I'm there, like talking to people, spectating and like giving people advice. And like, I was like, I'm on the other end within a space of like 4 months. This is crazy.
Big things can happen when you least expect it, guys. So tell me something. Yeah. What is in your supplement stack from CNP? I'm going to dive a bit deeper. What's in your stack?
So much. Okay, so you got your protein isolate, because I can't have whey because I have a sensitive stomach. You've got peptide. Now peptide, if you jump on it, it is expensive, but it's got 48 grams of proteins worth for a 65 gram serving. It's got fast releasing like proteins, slow releasing proteins, I think,
like a tapered release
enzymes. It helps with your sleep. It's just a premium quality peptide protein, and it's the new flavors biscuit spread. Ooh. Now I know a load of people have been jumping on the biscuit spread, like Perform Whey and things like that, but apparently everyone said like the rest of crap. I can't have Perform Whey because it makes me really ill. I've tried it, doesn't work. This biscuit spread, I'm not on prep anymore, so obviously I can have Lotus whenever. Near enough the same. Like I cannot complain at all.
Wow.
And you can actually make it into like a little protein sludge. Have you seen the craze about the protein sludge where you put it on your oats? Yeah, you can do that with it, and it's beautiful. What else? Obviously, the loaded EAAs. They're high quality. Like they're
which flavor though? Because I know the loaded EAA have flavors, and I'm torn between which ones are the best ones and which ones, which one I'm like, not too sure. So which one would you recommend?
So I'm a big fan of the strawberry laces, 100%. It's simple, straightforward, and it's like, it's just so good. You can literally drink it as like juice. It's so good. Fruit salad as well. So that represents the fruit salad sweets that I don't actually like, but the EAAs, like they're amazing. Everyone was so big on the pink pigs and the watermelon, but I'm not a fan of them.
Pink pigs
just because it was like you open the tubs of every single thing from CNP, and it's like the smell and everything is just like straight in your face.
The experience. Oh, that's lovely. Big up CNP, man. If you haven't tried out their products, guys, make sure you check them out. Visit 100%. Their website and jump on it. So, Rimini, so what's your plans for the future going forward? Is it just complete, just pushing yourself as far as you can go with the competitive side, still remaining relevant with the social media and your sponsored athlete side of things with CNP? What's the plans?
So sticking with CNP throughout the whole of the bodybuilding journey. Like I've only just started this journey, and I want it to carry on for at least like 5 to 7 years. Like I know you can't really put a timeline on things like this because things might happen within the runs, and obviously life sometimes knocks you down and you have to get back up. But that's the aim, like compete every other year. So then I've got a year to grow. And then I want to see change within every show that I do. Because if I look the same as I did when I got on stage last year, next year, and just doing different poses, I'm out. I want to come back to the stage and everyone be like, wasn't that bikini girl from 2021? Like, that's what I want to be. I want people to be like shocked.
Nice. And I'm guessing that we'll definitely be seeing you on the WNBF UK stage.
Yes,
right?
100%.
Good.
I'm actually talking to my boyfriend to compete in that federation as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's a classic bodybuilder, so that'll be exciting if we can prep together.
Nice, man. The more the merrier on the WNBF. We really want to just try and make sure that all the best UK natural athletes just step forward and just be counted. You know what I mean? Just come and represent and do your thing, man. This is the platform. Previously you talked about stage time, and I think that's really important as athletes, that we feel that we get enough stage time to represent the hard work and graft that we put into that prep. You know what I mean? Because some shows it's a chop shop. You literally go on and then you're off, and before you blink, you're like, that was like 10 minutes worth. Yeah,
especially if it's your only show as well. Because I know so many people do that for their only show, and then they're like, well, that wasn't worth it. I don't blame them for saying it wasn't worth it, because you literally stand on stage, you do your eye walk, you do your pose down, and then that's it, it's done. Like, the WNBF one actually lasts all day, so then you can just appreciate it and just take it as every step forward. Like, you do your call outs and stuff like that, you do your rotations, and you get a break so you can talk to everyone and look forward to the eye walk. So there's no like, oh well, we're done now, so we're gonna go home. And then you got the rest of the day to think, oh, there's my season finished, so what do I do now?
So what would be the biggest kind of takeaway that you'll give to anyone coming into just getting into competing, or considering competing? What's the biggest advice you can give to someone coming in?
I think if you're debating it, just put in 100% for it, because then you've always done your best. Pick a coach you can trust. Go for the well-known bikini brands. That's one mistake that I did. Make sure you're organized with everything. Make sure you got enough money. And with the social media advice, just be yourself and share your journey, because at the end of the day, that's what people want to see. And just be honest and open about life on prep and stuff like that, because you don't have to be like everyone else. You don't have to be the same as anyone else, and being different will make you stand out for the better, in my opinion.
Love that. Well, up there.
Just be honest and open.
Thank you for that bit of advice. And I'm guessing that you're going to be at the first timer show coming up, right? With CNP.
Where is it? In London?
I think it's the London show. It's on the 17th of July. So it's 9 weeks out.
I will have to see. That is like, I think that's 3 hours away from me.
Oh yeah,
so
you're way up the country.
Not,
so you're the Birmingham one.
Into the Supernaturals.
Definitely. So guys, you'll see Rimini at Supernaturals. 100% at Supernaturals. Yes. So we've got the first timer show coming up on the 17th of July. You know, guys, if you haven't secured your place on that, get on it ASAP. And if you have registered, just make sure you got your spectators tickets as well, because you know, bring your crowds. We want noise, you want atmosphere. There's no point coming on stage and it's just you one. So that bring the family, roll it out, make it a whole day. And then we've got the big Supernatural show in October, on the 9th of October. So yeah, 2 big events.
Where's that in Birmingham? Is it?
That's going to be back at the Crescent Theatre. Yeah, so you know,
I'll be down at that one for sure.
Yeah, great venue. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a showstopper. I've seen some amazing people sharing their prep updates on their timelines already, and I'm like, wow, that show's still got a little way to go. So looking forward to that one. But Rimini, thank you very much for your time this afternoon and being on the WNBF UK podcast. Big shout out to CNP, our show sponsors, and Rimini sponsor. You know, there she goes. She got the CNP. She's representing CNP. CNP, pick up yourself. Guys, if you haven't checked out their products, make sure you give them a visit on social media. Rimini, before we go, give the guys your social media handles, how they can find you and how they can keep up to date with you.
Okay, Instagram and TikTok, Rimini Fit, and that's literally it. Like, so simple. It's so good.
Hey. It's as easy as that. So give a follow and just continue watching the journey, because I'm looking forward to seeing her when she touches back on that stage. But until then, guys, have a great day. See you soon.
Bye.
Check out CNP, our sponsors, and sign up for our events at www.wnbfuk.com.